So I'm here with Paul Gibson from Gibson Gale Chartered Surveyors based in Gibraltar, but you operate in Spain as well.
Yes.
And as I understand, you are a chartered surveyor.
Yeah.
And we're sitting in a villa in El Paraíso, all on one level. And we're gonna have a wander around because I want to get your input on how you survey a property, what you look for, and the sort of things that, you know, potential buyer should be looking for.
First of all, walk around a property to try and gauge the construction method, how it's been constructed, if there are any extensions to the property.
Yep.
So look at things like that. We'll have a wander around the boundaries, have a look at the pool. But this one looks fine, doesn't it? It's all flowing through.
Yeah, seems okay.
It's at the correct level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to get an overview of the property before I start looking in more detail, just to get the flavour of the property itself.
Right.
See if there's any underfloor access things, or access into ceiling voids.
Right. So you'll actually go into ceiling voids and
if they're accessible.
if they're
yes.
accessible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or under the floor. So if you
Yeah.
can get under the floor, because
Right.
quite often these buildings are concrete frame, and they're quite often on a suspended floor. So there is a void below. Sometimes it's quite sizable, and other times it's less than a metre, which really you can't access. So.
Yeah. But this has got guttering.
It has got guttering, yeah, which is quite good actually. Yeah.
Unusual.
Yeah, and that probably wouldn't have been in the original construction of the property.
How are you looking for extensions? So you're seeing if something's been added on, and you
Yes.
alert to that in the report?
Yeah, I would do if I can see something that's obviously an extension to the main house. I mean,
Right.
if there are plans, that's useful, because all of these properties will have had a full planning approval,
Yeah.
and it will be approved by the College of Architects
Yeah.
in Malaga.
Right.
And there is a big dossier of plans, which sometimes the owners have got, which is very useful. Because
Okay.
then you can look at the plans, you can see precisely how it's constructed, and then you can also see if there's been any additions.
I mean, I can imagine a crack. It's quite an obvious one. But apart from that, how would you determine that there is a potential?
Well, you can look at
Structural
you can look at the nature of the cracks and the size of the cracks, and make a judgment on what's happening, the positioning of the cracks. So and if there's an extension, you sometimes get kind of differential movement between the existing structure and the new structures. The new structure's on a different foundation to
Yeah.
the original, usually not quite as strong or deep. The concrete structure roof, it will be overlaid with tiles on a sand cement base and a waterproof membrane.
Okay.
I generally try to see it as best I can.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
difficult on
It's
villas
difficult.
like this at
Yeah,
flat.
it is.
I mean, sometimes there's some ladders and I can have a look on the top
Yeah.
and look for slip tiles.
Yeah. And humidity, obviously you're using a damp meter to check humidity levels, but the problem often is, where does it come from? You know, is it a pipe in the wall? Is it ground humidity?
If it's around exterior walls, it's often the case that it is from the outside. I mean, if you're around a bathroom and you suddenly see that the floor's looking bad, it's giving positive readings, and the walls around the bathroom it's usually pipe work.
Yeah.
They'll have the floor, the slab,
Yeah.
and then they put the services on top of that.
Yeah.
And then they put a fill layer, and then the tiles on that, and that layer is quite porous. So if water does get into that area, it travels around. So if you've got a leaking pipe,
Yeah.
you'll find it will affect areas quite a distance
Oh,
away
really?
from the leak, and it
'Cause it can
travels
travel.
around. Yeah, it travels around through that layer. Yeah.
Right. So we've been talking about old properties, but I also know that you offer a snagging service on new properties. So let's say somebody buys an off-plan property, they're getting close to completion, I always think it's a very good idea to employ someone to check the property before you actually pay the final amount and get your keys on a new build. It's always a good idea to do it at that stage. So you offer a snagging service, which is looking at the quality specification, I guess.
Yeah, so looking at quality specification and checking the property, looking at any defects, scratched glass or just bad workmanship.
Yeah.
Which is quite often, you know, misaligned wall sockets or
Yeah.
you know, the full gamut really
Of possible
of everything,
defects.
of defects. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, and finish. A lot of it's finish.
Yeah.
You know, is that wall finish adequate? You know, is it patchy? Is a ceiling patchy? You know, is a floor level? You know, so it's you know, it's a full range. You know, marks on architraves, doors,
Yeah.
everything. Kitchens.
Yeah.
Looking at the kitchen units.
Okay.
Checking all of the sanitary ware, you know, a full look, interior and exterior, looking at the doors as well. Because also there's nowhere to run on, it's so flat.